Mentioned Indiana State. What an amazing team. What they've been able to accomplish the last 2 years. And I told Mitch this, he's as good as coach as anybody that we've coached against this year. What he's done with his team, his program, what he's gotten out of his players, that's a really good team. And proud of our guys. I'm just so thankful for the BBN. You know, we have a saying in our program that we do not move. And when that weather came in and it started raining and I looked out there, our fans did the same thing. They didn't move. They held their ground and they just waited. So thankful for them, thankful for our staff. I thought James did a great job with the weather. It's not an easy thing. Want to thank Scott Geisinger, his staff, the operations staff. We made the right decisions with the weather, and that can be tricky. So so thankful for them. My heart is just filled with gratitude from Mitch Barnhart and Tim Bernal and our administration, all the way down to our coaches, our staff, our players, and the Big Blue Nation. Just proud of them. Proud of them to win 3 of these in 7 seasons after having 0 in I don't know how 100 and how many years. Just so thankful for past players, coaches, staff, and everybody. So this one's for you, Big Blue Nation. Thank you.
All right, we'll do questions for the student athletes first. Identify yourself and your outlet. John Hill.
John Hill, the Herald Leader. For any of the players who want to talk about it, does this feel different than last year? Obviously, you guys, thought you had a chance to LSU, wanted to make it to Omaha, but is it the expectation now? What's the feeling compared to a year ago when you first?
I mean, I think it's awesome every time. I think both of us, or all 3 of us, being here last year, a little bit more experience. So it felt a little different, but winning it still feels the same.
Dylan Ballard to Sea Blue. Mason, you got to throw tonight. You ultimately get the win. What's it mean being from here? This is going to be the first time they've hosted a super regional here. The fans coming out and being like it is, but you just being from the state. What's it mean to you to have that opportunity to bring home a win, to send them to host a super regional?
It means a lot. I'm grateful that Coach Mans and his staff put their faith in me to go out there and win us a game. And being from this home state, I just want to go out there and give my best effort and give our team the best chance to win.
Jeff Drummond, Kentucky Rivals. Grant, you've made a ton of great plays in your time here at Kentucky. I want to know where you rate the one in the outfield tonight on your personal list.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know where I'd rank it. Definitely top 2 or 3 probably, but it was just a crazy play. I honestly don't even really remember it. I kind of blacked out. But I thought me and Waldy were going to collide, so I'm grateful that didn't happen, and just the feel that he had seeing me go after the ball. But yeah, good play.
Daniel Hager, Kentucky Sports Radio. Million, what was going through your head on that 7th inning home run? Did you think it was gone, and just what were you kind of sitting on there?
Yeah, I had 2 strike, and with 2 strike, we have a team approach is backing up the ball, and that's what I did. Unfortunately, I hit the ball hard enough for it to go over the fence.
John Clay, Herald Leader. Mason, you've been sick. There was some talk that maybe you weren't feeling real well over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, it kind of hit me yesterday, right before the game in the morning. I had a stomach bug, and Richie and the trainer, they got me right. They put 2 bags of IVs in my arm yesterday, and I actually didn't watch the game yesterday. I was at the house resting up, and so they got me right. So all thanks to them, and they got me ready for today.
Mason, it's 20 or 30 innings in the tournament now. You haven't given up a run. What about these situations that you pitched the way you have the last 2 years?
It's really just the defense. When you got guys like Grant, Petey, and Nicholson and Mitch out there, and Waldy, everybody, it's easy to go out there and just pound the zone and let them make plays for me.
Nick Gabriel, SEC Network. Grant, I don't know if you remember this, but you told me first of the year there were guys coming back and some new faces. You thought you all could be better this year. Obviously, you've made more accomplishments, but why do you think this team, nothing against last year's, but how did you guys improve this year?
Yeah, it's a good question. I felt it. I think we all felt it from day one, just how close the guys started to become and how much we were pulling for each other. There's definitely an uncommon selflessness about this team, much like last year's team, and I think that's why we were both able to be successful. But just the depth this team has, the commitment to winning that this team has, I think it's paid off really well.
And did Waldy call for that ball at all, or was it yours all the way?
He told me, he said, take it, take it, take it. I
Yeah.
said, I don't know if you heard that. It sounded like you blacked out. Tell the truth now, James.
So I originally, like right off the bat, kind of heard Nolan actually say, "G, take it." And so I, full speed going, but the crowd was like loud enough that I couldn't hear Waldy at all. So just running through my mind that I was either going to get knocked out by Waldy or make the catch. Unfortunately, I made it.
That's exactly what's amazing about this team. Think about what he just said. He was going to get knocked out. He was going to do everything to get an out, and he wasn't scared. He was fearless. It was amazing.
Nick has talked about it, you guys have talked about the crowds you guys have gotten down the stretch and then here for this regional. I mean, do you have any kind of feel of what it's gonna be like next weekend? And how much you're looking forward to having this thing at home?
And it was awesome. I mean, the second half of the season, the whole season, honestly, just so special with BBN, and tonight was incredible. I mean, I can't remember that feeling of having a crowd like that, but those stands in the outfield are awesome, and BBN showing out and filling them up, so next weekend should be even more fun.
Yeah, I'm seeing 5,800 right there as the attendance. I mean, it felt like 10,000, so I can't imagine what it's gonna feel like next weekend.
Sean Huang, NOLA Media. Emilian, you got that big hit today, but yesterday you made that fantastic play, also snagging that liner and doubling the guy up. You get more pride out of defense, offense?
I'd say it's about equal. I personally think I'm a defensive player over an offensive player, but yeah, I feel like I do enough on both sides of the ball to help the team win. So.
Ryan, let Curry go. Emilian, kind of following up on that, did you know when the ball kind of left your bat? Did it feel like a home run? I mean, it barely cleared. What point did you kind of know, well, maybe this is going to go out?
Well, when I saw the left fielder backing up, and he had no clue where the fence was behind him, and he kept backing up, and I was like, oh, that's got a chance. And I saw G, he wanted to tag, so I had to stop for me not to pass him. But no, right off the bat, I knew I got it good, but I didn't know I was going over the fence right away.
You guys turned that double play there in the middle when you made that diving catch and pitched it up. It seemed like the team and the fans kind of just sparked from that moment. I know it was an exciting moment for you guys, but could you kind of feel that, the team and the fans really getting into it at that moment when you guys turned that double play?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was feeling them before that, but just with all the chants and how loud they were, but that obviously elevated it, and then throughout the whole game, just continued to do it. So.
Yeah, I had a flashback because first game of the season, G and me made the same exact play, so I thought about burying it.
Did you bury it?
I didn't. But yeah, I had a flashback right there. It was awesome.
Aaron Gershon, Catspause Mason, you mentioned you didn't even watch the game yesterday, resting up. When did you know you were actually going to be able to go, and how much doubt was there yesterday that you'd even be ready to go?
There was a little bit of doubt that I wasn't able to go just because how bad it was in the morning. But like I said, the trainers did a really good job at getting me healthy, and like I said, I went home and just rested. The coaches, they made me leave. I wanted to stay and watch the game, but the trainers, they made me leave. And I kind of knew this morning that I was able to go, even last night, because I was feeling back to normal. So I give all the credit to the trainers and the staff that got me right last night.
Can I add to that?
Please.
So I just pulled up on my phone. That's what I was looking for. At 7:36, my phone goes off. It's a text message from Mason. This is what he said. Here we go. This is what he said. Just to update you, I'm feeling better and back to normal. I'm ready to throw and win us a ball game tomorrow, Coach. That's what he said.
There you go.
That's what he said.
Awesome.
You want to know my reply? Got it. Get some rest. Can't wait to watch you in all caps dominate tomorrow. Call me if you need anything. So I knew, I went to bed knowing, like it made me feel good. I slept real good last night. But you might have known before, but what does that say, 7:38. It was exactly at 7:38.
I waited till after the game.
Mason, how much does adrenaline help carry you through to when you're not feeling your best and everything being on the line in this game?
It was huge tonight. I could tell a little bit in warm-ups I wasn't feeling, the greatest. But, like BBN showing out really, and like family and friends coming out really wanted me to perform good. And I think that helps out with adrenaline because I obviously wasn't feeling my best. And I think with all that, it helped me get through the game today.
Emilian, earlier this year, you did a mid-game interview with us, and we asked you about coming down here from Canada to play, and what your message was to the folks back home. And you said, come down to Kentucky and check out Kentucky baseball. What do you think they're saying north of the border now about Kentucky baseball? What's the message now?
All good things about here. My parents got the chance to come down about 3 weeks ago, and it was awesome. They felt so welcomed by everyone, and they tell me every day how proud they are of me, and they're super grateful of what I've accomplished here, and they're super grateful of all the people that support me here. So,
Are there UK fans now in Quebec? Are they wearing your gear?
I mean, I've seen my grandparents wear a couple shirts, but hopefully we're getting more Canadians here down in Lexington. So, yeah.
Jonathan Bruner, Kentucky Colonel. Mason, you worked out of a lot of jams tonight. What do you think about your stuff allowed you to kind of never give up that big hit today?
It just kind of reminded me of like last year regionals. You know, when I get in jams like that, I always had to make one pitch, and I think that's what I did good tonight. And when you have a defense like we have, I wasn't afraid to make the pitch down the middle or where I needed to. I think that's what helped me out the most tonight, was just trusting my defense, trusting the guys behind me, and knowing that they'll make plays.
All right, before we release the student athletes, Coach.
Yeah, I do want to take a minute to talk about these three guys, because Mason, what he's been able to do for us, and to watch his growth from him being in high school, sending us videos of him dunking, and me wondering like, I better show some videos of striking some dudes out now. Just the commitment and the growth that he has shown, and how much better he's gotten. I mean, he has the clutch gene. You guys know that. And to have a guy from Kentucky do this 2 years in a row, to have somebody for his state school that bleeds blue, him and his family, it's been awesome. And Pete, to go from, he was 130 pounds when we committed him, 130 pounds. How much you weigh now?
About 190.
He weighs 190. And to watch his growth, it was during the COVID area, left, moved from home, didn't live at home, and trained and just ate and got bigger, faster, stronger, got 4 at-bats as a freshman. In the day and age where people just leave in the transfer portal, he did not do that. He sat there, coached first base, served our team, and just waited his turn. And then a year later, last year, he's second team All-SEC. And you saw what he was been able to do for us. He's as good as players I've ever coached. Coached 26 guys to make it to the big leagues. He's as good as any player I've ever coached, because he's focused, he cares, and he's honest. He is really honest. He is brutally honest with our team, our players, himself. He can self-evaluate himself as good as any player, and it's a gift. And you saw the last 2 days how he can literally impact a game on every single level. Even in the first inning, he draws a walk, they try to pick, ball gets away. What does he do? He ends up at third base, and he's barely safe. The threat of the stolen base got him that, and his speed got him that, and that got us on the board, because Devin got a sac fly. We did it all without a hit. He impacts the game on every level. And then for Grant, there's nobody that's ever met Grant that doesn't look back and go, man, what a dude. What a dude. I want to tell you a story about Grant. He shows up to my son's school to read to little kids. And one of the people that work at the school say, hey, my son is a huge baseball fan. What's his name? Grant. And he says, hey, he might be a little shy. Can you maybe sign something for him? And Grant's like, well, does he go to school here? And she says, yeah. He goes, well, let's go find him. So Grant seeks this little boy out and signs something for him and just talks to him. Fast forward a couple weeks later, that boy shows up to our game. And Grant's like, hey, Grant, how are you? And the kid is just baffled that Grant remembered his name. So Grant gives him a baseball, okay? Well, that's the game that Grant hurt his hamstring. Well, would you know that that kid waited after the game, and Grant Smith wasn't happy with how nice of a baseball he gave that kid? So Grant, when he could have been feeling sorry for himself, what did he do? He got him a better baseball and gave it to the kid. And that kid cherishes his baseball. And I want to tell you something. His mom ran into me and said, would you mind if I could reach out to Grant's parents And I was like, well, I maybe have their phone number. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I was like, I can relay any message. And they said, I just want to tell their parents that they did it. They did it. They raised a kid that I want my kid to be like. Then you watch what he does on the field today. It's truly amazing. He is an amazing person, and he deserves every bit of success he gets. So I'm proud of these guys, all three of them, and our entire team. Guys, there are so many stories like that I could share about these guys. It is a special team, regardless of whatever happens. They did it, just like that mom said. They did it. Proud of them. Yeah.
All right, questions for Coach, please? Yep.
Coach, a guy we haven't even touched on is Cam O'Brien. After Mason gets out, Novi comes in, gets 2 big outs, and then Cam strikes out 5 of the 9 guys he faced. How big was he?
Oh, he was amazing. I thought Jackson did his job. Jackson got the 3 guys. They had the run of lefties right there at the bottom. I know you guys knew that. It was perfect. He's going to face those 3, and Cam's going to go to the top. And he did. Jackson Novi did his job, and then Cam had the look tonight. He had the energy. He ran multiple pitches in the strike zone, and that's a guy that's thrown a lot of college baseball games. And we met as a staff after the 8th. We're like, what do you think? Like, he's throwing good. Keep going. Let him keep going. We had good arms in the bullpen that we could have brought in too, but he was throwing the ball so well, and we needed it. But we had other guys behind him that would have had his back. But he was special tonight.
Okay. Nick, you said that the crowd went undone. Does this feel different than the last 2, or the expectations are obviously higher, but we just wonder kind of the emotions going into next weekend, knowing it's going to be here, knowing you're number 2 overall seed, all those things.
Yeah, I just keep going back to my heart being filled, just like with the amount of gratitude. And the reason why I said we're not done yet is because we have another game. And whoever it's going to be, whoever we're going to play, we know this is going to be a great opponent. And we'll respect them. But this one does feel different because we've been able to do it 2 years in a row. I think anytime you have a team that can experience something and to be able to do it again, I also noticed that our team didn't dogpile. They high-fived, and they made it feel different. And we've always said that the path to Omaha, the easiest path is through your home field, and we're, again, for the 3rd time in 7 seasons, we're 2 wins away. And it's going to take a total team effort. It's going to take the BBN to show up just like they did, regardless of the weather. That was amazing. That reminded me a little bit of 17 when we had to clear the stadium. There was just not as much lightning and thunderstorms. But yes, it does feel different.
Dylan Ballard, Sea of Blue. Coach, you talked about the other day in an interview on the SEC Network about just how far you guys have brought this program post-COVID. When you get the chance to host this super regional, taking this program to places it's never been, does it kind of make it feel a little more special that you went through some of those tougher times and everybody stuck around with you and you guys made it through it and now you're getting to see the fruit from that?
Coach Madison is our former head coach of 25 years, and he leads our coaching staff in a Bible study every week. And he's taught me a lot of unbelievable lessons. And he said, he talked about valleys, and he said, you're in one of 3 situations. Either you're in a valley going through a hard time, as you mentioned, in 19 and 20 and 21. So you're either in a valley, you just got out of the valley, or you're about to go in the valley. You're one of those 3. And he's like, be ready and be on guard. And there's no question in 19, 20, 21, we were in the valley. And it was an amazing group of people, committed people. We made adjustments. I mentioned that COVID, it was really hard for a lot of people. And I actually used that time to evaluate every area of our program. And I believe that feedback is the breakfast of champions. And I called former players and asked them about me, what the players thought about me, our culture, what I could do better. I met with some. I got some really tough feedback and things I didn't quite frankly want to hear. But I believe feedback's the breakfast of champions. So I made adjustments. We made adjustments on how we recruit, how we evaluate, what fits into the ballpark. And it took time. And it took effort and intentional energy by a lot of people. But we believe that we had come out of that valley And we had to get feedback, a lot of us, all of us, involved in the program at that time. And some of it's not what we wanted to hear, but more importantly, it's not what we wanted to hear, but it's what we needed to hear. And we made adjustments. And I would tell you this, everything rises and falls on leadership. And there's a man that stood by me and the rest of the coaches and believed in us, and his name's Mitch Barnhart. When other people maybe didn't see it and didn't understand. So I'm forever grateful to him for what he's done and how he's blessed my family in this program. But we said we don't move, he didn't move, and he did not flinch. And we made adjustments, and I'm just thankful.
Jeff, down
Nick, I don't know if it was the fifth or the sixth inning, but Mason starts out walking, I think, two guys, and I start hearing murmuring in the crowd.
Yep.
Too long leash, get him out. You knew you had the guy for the job there. Why was Mason able to work out of that situation?
Because he's been there, and he's been there. And the thing about Mason is, whenever somebody gets on, he is literally one pitch away from a double play. That's what he does. He produces ground balls when he's at his best, and he produces weak contact. Those are a couple things he does. And this is a team with tremendous power. And the way we were going to win by keeping the ball in the ballpark. So I give Coach Rozelle a lot of credit. He has called this tournament. He has done unbelievable about calling pitches, evaluating the opposing teams, how to attack them, along with the other coaches. They've done a great job. But even after the fifth, I was thinking a lot like other people. I'm like, okay, he's at 88 pitches. If he goes the next inning, we're going to get him over 100. After everything he went through yesterday, all of that was going through my mind. And I look at him, he goes, he's going back out there. He's like, he's got to get us another inning. And he was so confident. I'm like, he's going back out there. He needs to get us another inning, And sure enough, it was the right call. And his confidence and belief in Mason, Coach Rozelle, I thought that had a lot to do with it. And Mason, having been there, done that. And to be able to draw on that experience, like he said earlier, hey, just like last year, I've had to dig deep, and I just know he's one pitch away, and he was able to do that.
Yeah, over there then.
Ryan, about the Courier Journal, you've already been asked a few times about this, about how maybe this feels different and this, that, and you even touched on it, but for you, how as a coach do you balance telling guys, hey, celebrate this is an accomplishment, while also balancing like, hey, we don't play this just to get to regional, we've got bigger goals. Just how do you balance as a coach, kind of getting that message across?
Yeah, so this facility's an amazing facility, and my favorite thing about this facility is actually the people in it, right? You can have a beautiful building and facility, but if you don't have the right people on the inside, what good is it? And all of the graphics and everything in this facility was intentionally placed in the spots that they were in. And a guy by the name of Kevin Saul, a good friend of mine who was here, he's now the athletic director at Wichita State. We sat down and looked at every wall and everything. And we knew that when they came into this classroom, this is what we call this our classroom, because we believe we're teachers, and we're trying to teach them, and we're trying to lead them. And we made the decision that when they walked through that wall, the first thing that they were going to see was the Kentucky sign. And then as they walk into their seats, they would see that sign. And that was placed there intentionally for them to be a reminder that it was all about Kentucky. And as they walked to their seats, the goal was to go there and eventually be national champions. So that's what our goal is. That's what the goal is. And I'm just thankful to be in this position. But they understand the goal. If you were to ask our players what the goal on the field was, they would tell you that our goal is to be national champions. And this was one step. And anytime you can win a championship of any kind, obviously we won the SEC, we're now a regional champion. These are experiences that they'll never forget. And as a coach, it brings me the greatest joy to watch them celebrate and have experiences that they'll never forget. And because of that, they'll have a bond with these guys, and they'll be in each other's weddings, and they'll do all of that. So that gives me peace. That gives me peace and happiness for them.
Coach, when you look at a guy like Ryan Nicholson, transfers here from Cincinnati in the offseason, maybe he doesn't get off to the start that he might have wanted, but gets red hot. He just hit his 20th home run tonight, the most by a player since you've been here, and now he's named Lexington Most Outstanding Player in the Regional. Just some thoughts on him and how far he's come as a player here.
Number one, again, a guy from Kentucky, from Louisville, Kentucky. playing for his state school. It's just awesome. It's awesome. And the thing about Ryan is he always believed in himself. He knew that he didn't a lot of times get off to good starts, but he fully believed in himself. And there was a time where he was going through a hard time, and I met with the coaches and I said, I'm gonna meet with Ryan. I need to talk to him individually, and Ryan doesn't know this. And I said, I wanna check his heart. I just wanna make sure that his heart is right. And we had an amazing conversation, and I went back and I'm like, guys, he's gonna be fine. That guy needs to be our first baseman. And for a lot of reasons. Think about the way he impacted the game defensively today. What about the play he made down the line in the third? What about the pick that he made on the ground ball to Daly? What about the pick he made yesterday on the play up the middle with Grant? He has impacted the game in so many ways, and his defense was amazing. And he takes the good kind of pride in his defense. So there are two things that have happened to our team when Waldy offensively got to the spot where he was in the lineup full time. That changed. And then when Ryan started hitting the ball over the fence, it changed our lineup. Those two things have changed our lineup as much as anything.
Nick, you were talking about adjustments, and it occurred to me the kids who came in, it could have been anybody, but you got a Kentucky kid, you got a recruit from out of town, and then you got a kid in the portal. You kind of mixed and matched, and that concoction has worked again. Is that the adjustment, one of the adjustments you're looking for? Because each of the last 2 years,
yes,
it seems like that's fallen into place.
You bring up a really good point, and you're exactly right, Dick. The foundation of our recruiting has to be from high school student athletes. That has to be the foundation. And as we evaluate our team each year, there's a lot of factors. There's the draft that we try to deal with. There is the transfer portal. I'm really proud of our program. We've had the fewest players go in the transfer portal of any team in our league. I think that says a lot about them. And then obviously what our needs are. So when you're dealing with graduation, draft, and then the portal allows you. So one of the things that we wanted to do was be old. And we believe if we continue to develop our high school student athletes, and then we were able to mix and match and get some guys out of the portal, that would be a good recipe and formula. And when we were here the first time, in 06, as you remember, we won the SEC that first year that I was here. It was awesome. And we had our first regional, and we weren't able to win, but we hosted one. And I always remember John Cohen talking about how we had to have edge and toughness, and we wanted to be old. And at that time, we did a lot of junior college players. If you think about all the great junior college players that came through our program, even back then with Coffey and Strebe, and these guys were all part of us trying to be old as well. So the fact that we've been able to do that and develop our guys, and the guys have been patient, and then the mix in the portal, that's been one of the adjustments that we've learned and we decided over COVID.
Do you still hashtag Omaha every time you?
No, I don't. I changed it to Go Cats. Okay. I changed it to Go Cats. But no, that first year though, I know. You're exactly right. That's how we ended and you did a great job with that documentary. But yeah, no more hashtag Omaha, Go Cats. Go Cats. And when I do the social media, I always do We Are UK, because I want to remind them that it's bigger than ourselves. Our baseball program is about the University of Kentucky.
Probably don't even need to do that anymore, do you? Because now they're thinking of that.
We Are UK. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, good point.
Curtis Birch, UK Sports Network. You had the mic again after the players talked, and then got dumped, and I don't know if it's shorted out or. So 2 questions. 1, who pays for the mic if it's broken? And 2, what were you gonna? What did you have the mic? What else did you want to say to the BBN?
I just wanted to, who pays for the mic? I'll pay for it, because it did stop working. I told Greg, I'm like, the mic is not working. I just wanted to thank them one more time, and I wanted our players to give them a round of applause. As they lifted us up, I wanted our players to just give it back to them. Instead of them just receive it, I wanted them to give it back to them for us to show their appreciation. And I wanted them to tip their caps to them and just thank them.
Coach, one of the players that you had speak to the crowd tonight, somebody that's meant a lot to your program, was your catcher. What's he meant to this team, and what does he meant to these last few games, and just going forward?
We wouldn't be where we're at without Devin Burks. I can look you in the eye as a man and tell you that we would not be where we're at today without Devin Burks. He's an extension of the coaching staff. He's tough. He's competitive. I had that guy today with runners on base. I make a note in the tally. 10 different times the ball hit the dirt and Devin kept the game in front of him. 10. 10 times. He either blocked it or picked it. 10. What about the play that got behind him and he flips it and Mason's there and the guy had to stop?
What kind of composure does that help your pitcher have
Oh.
when he knows that he has that? Or
Oh.
maybe a pitch following up a play like that knows he's kind of got my back on a play like that.
There, you bring up a really good point because in the game of baseball, trust is so good and it's so important. And you've heard me, you know I like quotes. You know I like quotes. Someone once said it's more of a compliment to be trusted than loved. It's more of a compliment to be trusted than loved. And you heard that guy at the end of that table, Mason Moore, said, I trusted my defense. So when we have 2 strikes, and we know that the way we're going to strike this guy out is throw the ball in the dirt, guess who he's got to trust? Devin. Guess who they trust? His energy tonight, the way he literally, I believe in my heart, he willed our pitching staff to do things that, quite frankly, maybe they didn't know if they had it in them. And they don't want to let that guy down. So in 22, we made 3 adjustments. We started catching Devin more. We put Nicky Emirati in the dugout to spend more time with the positional players, and I started coaching third. And from that day forward, it's been pretty good. And Devin, amazing guy, amazing leader. He lights up the coaching staff, the offices every day. He comes by every day. He does not miss. Matter of fact, this is amazing. This is amazing. This guy, he is contagious. Yesterday, I'm talking to a recruit, and he says to me, he's a pitcher, and he says, Coach, your catcher is amazing. All the things that he does back there, he goes, that guy's obviously getting drafted. What's the plan next year? Because if I come, I want to make sure that we have another catcher like that. He goes, I've always wanted to throw to a guy like that. So then I went on to explain to them about how he's an extension of us. We want him to come by the office every day. He meets with Coach Roselle. They talk about everything that's happening in bullpens, what cues they have, where do we need to give targets, all of it. That's what he does. He literally is ate up with baseball. And guy's amazing. The guy's amazing. And we don't win tonight. And we're not in this position without that guy. I'm 100% confident I can look you in the eye as a man.
Yeah, a couple more.
Can I get one more quick one in based on that comment? It seems like you could say that about 8 or 9 guys on your roster right now.
Yeah, the amount of because we got good players on our bench that aren't playing, and that have just committed to just do whatever they can to help Kentucky. You guys see Mitch Daly on defense? Every pitch, that guy, he just empties the tank. We saw it Grant, we saw it Pete, Nicholson, Waldy, James, Nolan. I mean, it is a team full of guys that love each other and they understand how to win. You know, every team's got to go through 3 phases. Number 1, you got to learn how to compete. Number 2, you got to learn how to win. And number 3, you got to learn how to deal with winning. But the foundation is competitive, and this is a competitive team. A competitive team. And yes, they have fun, but number 1, their foundation is competitive, and it's been a joy to be around guys. They've been unbelievable. They've been unbelievable, and I'm looking forward to spending more days with them.
Last one.
Statistician Corey Price on Twitter shared that it had been 138 games since Indiana State had been shut out. What does it mean to you that your pitching staff was able to kind of break such a long streak like that?
You know, I say all the time that we're just a bunch of dogs. That's what they are. They are a bunch of dogs, and they wanted to win. Pitching, defense, the only way you're going to do that is you have to make plays, because they put balls in play and they're going to hit balls hard. They're going to make plays. I mean, look what they did in the first game. They're an amazing team, and it's why I started out my my press conference about them, because they're an amazing team, and what we just did to a team like that, that is not easy. But I will tell you this, I believe that our team is filled with a bunch of dogs. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. Go Cats.